Good afternoon, Pisces. This is going to be your reading. I hope everybody is staying safe and everybody's healthy. I know this is my lifestyle 365 days a year because basically the whole quarantine lifestyle, that is me, the life of an introvert. I don't go anywhere. I am missing swimming. I'll be really anxious for them to open the pool back up at the gym so that I can swim. Outside of that, I'm still, going to the river, and everything I do really pretty much doesn't involve being around a lot of people anyway, so it's perfect. I'm not much of a people person. Not in person anyway. Maybe on like social media, but even then, we got quite a few cards. All right, let me pull some oracle cards. I pulled some of my other cards out of my basket. I'm trying to kind of transition them in and out. Oh, that's too many. I feel like that one wants to come out. I just been working on my little space in here because, when you're an introvert and you spend a lot of time at home, you really want your home to be, as comfortable as possible, especially when you spend a lot of time there. And I spend a lot of time here. All right. Give me a couple cards from my Pisces friends. That's so funny. I'll tell you why it's funny here in a minute. That's so funny. Okay. All right, the first card that we have is the Princess of Pentacles. So I feel like this has to do with a job or a business opportunity that is coming your way. But this is going to be an opportunity that's going to be presented to you. And it's going to be something that you've always wanted, something that's more in line with, more in tune with what you've always wanted to do. And I'm getting for some of you, it has to do with helping others. Maybe you've always wanted to be, in healthcare, or maybe you want to go back to school and be a social worker or a therapist. It's that type of energy that I'm picking up on, an opportunity that's presented itself, to possibly, go back to school, learn a new skill. Learn through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. So I'm feeling very strongly like you've been, very disconnected lately, which is a good thing. I'm being disconnected right now from the collective energy of fear and chaos is not a bad thing at all. In fact, this actually helps to create more peace in the world because you're not contributing to the fear, because we are a collective consciousness. And what we focus on collectively does manifest. So I feel very strongly that you've been, really disconnected, pulled back your energy, and you're just really, really focused on yourself and really doing that soul searching to try to figure out what it is that you want to do. And I'm getting for a lot of you that this opportunity has came up for many of you, and if it hasn't, it's going to. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And I don't know why, but I got this like image of like gardening. Maybe you're planting a garden right now. You're trying to be more self-sufficient, live off the land. And this is not a bad move to make right now. But it's also like planting a seed. Like you've planted a seed for something, and it's growing. And, maybe, I'm getting for some of you, maybe you met somebody who, you introduced yourself to, and you got their business card, or they got your business card, or whatever, but you exchanged information, and now, this opportunity has came up for you now. It was like a seed that you planted. Maybe it's somebody that, I'm getting for someone, maybe you were a server or a waitress of some sort, in a restaurant, and you took really good care of this person. And maybe you lost your job as a result of everything that's going on. And, this person gave you their business card, and you were able to get better employment as a result of everything that's happened. I mean, I'm picking that up strongly. If that hasn't happened, that's what needs to happen. I do not even know how to say this artist's name. It's Italian. These are my oracle cards. Boetti. Know who you aren't. Find clarity in clutter. There's more than one way to read a map. So what I'm picking up with on this is that while everyone else in the world is focused on the shit that's going on around them, you're finding other ways. Like I said, and it could actually be, planting a garden, growing your own food, finding ways to live off the grid even. But it's a different way of looking at things. It's almost like an alternative lifestyle. That is the energy I'm getting with this card. More than one way to skin a cat. That is the energy I'm picking up on, that you have found a way to make things work for you in the midst of everything that's going on right now. Some of you, might be making masks for people and selling them, or donating them, contributing them, or, making opportunities for yourself out of the situation itself. That's the energy I'm picking up on. A temptation. All right, so maybe you're tempted to go back to bad habits. Maybe, you have struggled with addiction and now you're clean. And so you've really been tempted. You've got too much time on your hands, just from the stress of, everything that's going on. You've been really tempted to kind of fall back into that energy of codependency and addiction. But I'm feeling very strongly that you're overcoming those things. And this time around, those temptations were not like they have been in the past, because you're learning that, it's not going to satisfy you. Doing these things, has it ever satisfied you? No. It's like you just keep chasing it and pursuing it, but it's never quite given you what you've been looking for. So now you're taking a different road. You're taking a different approach to life. We have this distant horizon. Somebody's thinking about moving. Maybe you're thinking about, when all this is over with, relocating. And I'm getting for some of you, maybe you want to move to a place with more opportunities. Distant horizons. Maybe you've been offered a job out of town. I mean, I'm picking up on this energy really strongly, or maybe you feel like you need to move away and get away from bad influences and make a fresh start somewhere else. And the time, I mean, it's all this is being divinely guided, but the message that's coming up right now is that you are on the right path. Everything you are doing is being divinely guided, and you are on the right path. It's beautiful. 5 of Staves. So I'm getting that there's a certain amount of competition going on right now with you. I've been a competitive person my whole life, and it's because, you know, basically as a child I had to compete for attention. I had to compete for stuff. And so I grew up, you know, and I was in this energy of I'm in it to win it. I want to always win. But the journey itself is the destination. So make sure that you are not missing the forest for the trees from trying to be number one, from trying to be perfect, from trying to like knock the competition out of the water, so to speak. This is a very ego-based train of thought to be in. And the more that you're in this energy of competition, the more people are going to bring it to you. I read a book one time, and I can't remember what the name of it was. But basically she was saying, and this is about gender, but I'm going to apply, you know, basically, because it's the energy that I'm getting. She said that when a woman enters into like a man's predominantly male-dominated field, and she tries to come at it from the standpoint of competition with men, okay? A lot of times men will really look down on that type of thing because they look at this woman as being like a poor substitute for them, like not trying to be a man but failing poorly. But if she were to be her authentic self and come into the workforce and ask for help, you know, not play, you know, the whole hopeless female role, but be feminine, be her authentic self, ask for help. Men are more likely to help her instead of annihilate her as competition. So that is the type of energy that I'm getting with that. Like, don't enter into anything that you are doing right now with this air about you of competition. Come into it with humility. Ask for help. Look to others to help guide you and teach you. Don't go into it, like I said, with this air. If you go into it with this air of, you know, I'm here to compete with you, or I'm here to take your job, I feel like a lot of you have done that before. And when you do that, a lot of times people are really turned off by that. It intimidates them. It scares them. It makes them feel insecure. So that is the whole energy that I was getting with that. And sorry, with this competition card. I'm sorry it took so long to explain it, but that's what I was getting. 5 of Pentacles, you know, and this is that what I'm picking up on too. I'm feeling like you're left out, like people leave you out. They don't include you. So really check in with your own attitude and how you're coming across to people, because sometimes you can be too much. So I feel like humility would really, really benefit you right now. I don't know why that message is coming through for several people. We have love. So these are my literary witches oracle cards. I'm going to get the book because we have love and we have hedgehog. And anyone who follows me on Facebook knows I've been talking about getting a hedgehog for a month. I've been hedgehog. That's all I've talked about. It's so funny that card would come up. Okay, for this hedgehog card, vulnerability, hiding the heart, tenderness. And the Sappho card, let me see if I can find it. It says love, the beloved desire taking flight. Before Plato and Homer, there was Sappho, literary star of ancient Greece and the first female homoerotic poet. And it's really interesting that we'd have a female poet come up in the time period or right before Plato and in Homer. And I just said that whole story about being a female in a male-dominated field. So I feel like that was specific to someone. Plato called her the 10th muse, and her reputation has survived to this day. However, her sung and lyre-accompanied poetry has been lost to time, fire, and religious disapproval. Only a few fragments remain. Once again, humility. Being able to, and that was that whole energy I was getting over here too, being able to find another way in. Being able to maneuver the energy to benefit you. And I feel like that is something that you're very good at, Pisces. So make sure that you're playing this right. And, you know, sometimes we have to be humble in order to get where we need to be. The hedgehog. And this is all about vulnerability. This is all about letting those guards down. And once again, I feel like that whole air about you of, you know, this super confident person, you know, never letting someone really see the true you is not benefiting you right now. Try to be more human. Try to be, you're very empathic. Step into that power. You know, when you meet somebody, try to feel what they've experienced, what they've been through. And then you're able to kind of give them what they need and what they want. And that's going to benefit you, especially with a job. Because I really feel like a lot of this reading right now has been about employment. Sorry, my allergies are really bad. But we do have the 10 of Cups, which is the completion of a cycle. And so what I'm feeling is that, you know, and you know, Pisces, you tend to be very emotional, but because you've been hurt before, you're scared to be hurt again. So you've sealed yourself off and you've been in this cycle for years. Well, now this cycle is over with. And basically the spiritual guidance that's coming up now is to start to be more vulnerable. Be more open. Use, like I said, use that empathic, that what's the noun for empath? Use your abilities to really tap into other people's emotions, not to manipulate them, but that is where your intuition lies, is in feeling. So when you cut that off, when you've cut yourself off from that, it's almost like cutting the head off of, you know, this creature, you know, it needs its head, and you've cut it off. And then you're like, why am I lost? I can't see. Well, you know, you cut your head off. And why did you do that? You did that because you were tired of feeling, you were tired of being hurt. Well, now it's time to use that again, to step back into it, because you know what? It's safe to do that. We have the Princess of Staves. And the Princess of Staves is actually clarified by pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. So I really feel like this card here has to do with spiritually awakening. You know, maybe you're seeing 1111 everywhere. You know, maybe you're seeing other, you know, signs, you know, names and And anything that's significant to you, the universe is showing it to you and you're seeing it. And that is why it says pay attention to the red flags. This is the universe letting you know that you're on the right path. And not just that, but you need to see past really what's happening in the physical world, because there's more going on than what meets the eye. And I'm feeling very strongly like this connection that you have with this other person. You have known this person before. This is a past life relationship. You have known each other before. And the signs are letting you know that. You know, maybe you've had some deja vu moments of some other time era. Maybe you've dreamt about it. You know, maybe you just were drawn to watch a certain television show and it's like a different region, a different time period that's telling you something. But you have known this person before. You know, we have this contemplation card. Just make sure you're not overthinking right now, because believe it or not, thinking is not where your intuition lies. It's in feeling. So once again, you need to get in touch with your feelings, Pisces. That is where your intuition is. And Pisces are known for their intuition. They're known for feeling their emotions very strongly. This is not a bad thing. Get in touch with that. Use that. That is where your power lies. It's beautiful. This was a beautiful reading, Pisces. I am doing, and I'm going to get one more. I'm being called to draw one of these self-compassion cards from my self-compassion deck. Understand these are not tarot or oracle cards, but I do use these because sometimes specific messages come through, and I'm being guided to pull a card. Give me a card for Pisces. You were the one that said Pisces needed this. So give me their message. Clear one. And that one definitely wanted to come out. Bring to mind a somewhat difficult person in your life. What are 3 things you might have in common with them as a human being? So yes, the theme has been facing our shadow side. So whoever this difficult person is in your life, they are trying to get you to see the things in you that need to be worked on, that are in your shadow. So it says, bring to mind a somewhat difficult person in your life. What are 3 things you might have in common with them? And that is your shadow side. That is what you need to be working on this week, Pisces. I'm still doing $20 readings until the end of this cycle of readings, and then I'm going up to 40. So if you want to have the half price reading, you need to be getting with me soon. I'll include my email address in the description of the video. I take Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and Facebook Messenger. Thank you for watching.